This is a pitch on the architecture of Music Oasis on Steam that I started developing the last couple of months. It's based on a game I made associated with Poser, a standalone desktop game, but I'm changing it to multiplayer uh, along with other people on the Music Oasis team, especially Ori will be helping with this. The major components, and by components I don't mean a component in the sense of something that's a component instead of Unreal, the major groupings of functionality inside of MOOS is the top level is a login menu, and that's the ability to log into a game or join a game that's already in progress. And by a game, that will probably be a music event. So you can host a concert and you can join the concert, or you can host a music jam, you could host an open mic, that type of thing, and then people could join it and find that via the login menu. And we'll be using the online subsystem. And I'll talk about that later in detailed slides. This is just the top level, and I've got a detailed slide on all of them, so I'll just save that for that discussion. The next level down is a character system. Once you get logged into the game, the character system is the main part of the game because obviously it's all games like this. It's your character's view of what's going on in the game. So everything's associated with your character, the majority of the functionality, and how your character interacts with other things in the game. At the same level of that character subsystem, but they need to be broken out specifically as the ability to chat and the ability to talk to other people in the game via voice. I, the character system itself, it's blueprint oriented. Everything is pretty much blueprint oriented at this point, except for the login menu. And my design approach is the only reason I would go to C++ is if I'm integrating something outside of Unreal. If all the functionality exists inside of Unreal or Unreal plugins, I probably won't be using C++. The only reason I would use C++ is maybe if there's a performance issue. But the only thing I will use it for is external communication or external integration. And the login menu is external in the fact that it uses OSS, and OSS talks to Steam. And I use a number of the Steam services, so I felt it was just easier to keep that all in C++, in case I needed to extend it even more than it already is. The next level down is user interface. Once you're in the system, once you're in the game, and your character is there, they have to have a way of interacting with a lot of the functionality, and most of that's through the user interface. And to be able to select things like change clothes, change the way the character looks, go to a different map, and so on. So that kind of leads to this next level of maps and levels. Maps and levels are the scenes or the worlds that are as part of the game, and there'll be a couple of basic worlds that are built in. But also there'll be ability down the road for creators to go create a map or level and add it to the game, so you can be able to go travel to it and visit it. The next level down is things that you would put in the map and the level, and I didn't put static meshes. Obviously, that'll be mostly what you put into the maps or levels. But there's dynamic props, and dynamic props are something like a scripted mesh that you have done, and you've written a blueprint associated with it, so it interacts and does things besides just sit there. So for things like all my dance effects that I've done in Sansar, those type of things, my musical instruments, that basically things that you'll interact with as a player. Two of the things that are at the same level that will be very integrated to it are video and audio, so media screens, and then the ability you'll see later to stream in and out pretty easily. And then the whole reason I was building this game to start with was music application. So those will be things where I'm integrating um, more complicated music related things. So the ability to play, use a loop or do DJ type things, do music creation, collaboration with other people. And then the community level of it is certainly the event scheduling, the being able to have a Discord-like community, and that will probably be mostly in Discord. The login menu is basically where a host starts a game. A host being the person saying, "I'm going to host a game," and it spawns a listen server on the host's PC. That may be eventually taken to the point where one of the options would be if we set up a headless server running on some service, whether it be AWS or whatever. That may be an option for hosting besides doing it on your own PC. But what you do basically is you log in, host the game, it generates your character, and it travels. The word is travels. It puts it into the store's map level. That's the first level that you go into. So that's sort of the lobby, basically, or the codex, or whatever you want to call it. The common figure blueprint, or the blueprint common figure, really it is launched, which has all the functionality associated with avatars. That's all in one big blueprint. And it uses Andy, and Andy looks like a mannequin, looks like a skeleton, and it's the mesh skeleton that is spawned automatically into the game. So you start out as a generic character. Now, down the road when we have persistence, you'll spawn into whoever you saved yourself as last. It stores the host session information in the online subsystem of Unreal, and that's the system that's set up to be able to do multiplayer interactivity. And with that, it allows you to do things like have a local LAN version of it, a VPN version of it, or a Steam-based version of it. Our game will run in the Steam-based version of that. But for testing and stuff, we'll certainly use the LAN and the VPN. When you join a game, you join the game and it lists all the sessions that have been started in that online subsystem. So like what people have started a session inside of Steam, for example, of this game. The player will select the host to join, and then we call the OSS join session, which adds that player to the existing game, to that map. So now there will be two players in that map, for example, if you're the second person to join. The players travel to that address where the host started. So during this login process and menu, you can always back out and cancel or go up a level of menu as well. Let me do a real quick look at that. I think I've seen its main menu. So basically, you basically have host, join, and quit. I am going to add, I think, standalone. So if you just want to, because this will have a lot of musical applications down the road. So a person might just want to come in here and practice, or practice a set that they might want to be doing live DJing with using this software. There's the host, and if you say host, it says, what do you want to call the game? And you would say something like test, and you would join the game, or you would start the game. You can join, and what happens when you join is it goes out there. Has anybody started a game? Of course, I haven't started a game. And the reason I didn't start the game here and then try to join it is I'm on the same PC, and I'm hooked up through Steam right now, and Steam doesn't let you have a host and a person joining the game on the same PC. They have to be on different PCs, which makes sense, in the real game. So again, see, I'm canceling back up to the top menu here, but let's host a game so we can see what's going on here. And it hosts it and drops you into the game. And there's Andy I was talking about, who's not very exciting, but like his walk. So that is the basic login. Sorry about that. I'm going to... Next major area is the character subsystem, and this is the heart of the game. It maps navigation keys, so you can move around the space. And right now, I'm supporting is just WASD spacebar. I'll probably add crouch, so C, and mouse to navigate, and it'll navigate just like Sansar does. Display initial user interface menu. So it displays a menu so you can interact with the world, with your character, your avatar. And the kinds of things that you call from the interface, user interface things, is you can change the avatar appearance. What did I do here? I'm sorry. You can change your avatar's appearance by using sliders and stuff, making it taller, shorter, or have a bigger nose. So, and I'll also be able to support down the road basic material changes like eye color, skin tone. Behind the scenes, the poser characters have materials that you could change to actually change the total appearance of what it looks like. And since if you go on Poser, you can or Daz, and you see in the marketplace all the hundreds of, or thousands of characters that have been created that way by basically changing materials and changing sliders, and that's inside the game where you can do that as well to some extent. The change the avatar animations, so you can have them sit, dance, whatever. And it's got basically your run, jump, crawl, whatever functionality in there as well. So you can, when you navigate, it changes the animations. You can change your clothes and then morph them to better fit the avatar, for example. Or if you're looking for a different look, you can change the camera, first person, third person, free camera, and then added camera effects, soft focus, just that type of thing. Just kind of things you'd see in something like Poser. To take pictures, you can do that with your camera as you're walking around as well. Travel, teleport to a different map or level. You can add your item to inventory by selecting it in a scene. So that's like picking up a freebie in Second Life, or like Backpack was inside of Sansar. You click on something and you can add it to your inventory. So say that we have a chair out there that you can add. You can click on that. It'll put that chair in your inventory, and then you also can take that from your inventory and then put it back into a scene. And we'll eventually put some kind of permissions on that type of thing as well. But right now it's just the mechanics are in place to be able to go do it. Launch NPC-based avatars. So certainly we'll use that for something like pets that would follow you. But also I wanted to do it for things like band members. So if you came in and you wanted to have your band playing, you could generate different characters or dancers or whatever. It's more for the music side of it that I was going to do it. And eventually we'll look at other avatar systems that we might integrate besides the Poser DAS based ones. User interface, again, it loads the menu, the menu from data that's stored in arrays. And it's all stored locally now, and eventually we will get around to putting that in a database. Let me go over here real quick. I mean, we've all seen this. So here's a menu. So you have the ability to change a character, and then you have the ability to change your pose. I can have what does it want to do? Robot dance, yeah. There's some messages I need to turn off there. But I can go back to this. And you can change the way he looks. I've already saved a version of him being mad. So this is like expressions inside of Sansar. It's a character morph, so it makes him mad. You can also edit those morphs. So I can go over here and he can be mad. I can change him from being mad to being happy, probably. And right now these are all lumped together. Yeah, he'll be happy. Oh, no. I guess that's not hooked up because I have this on here. So the and I've got props. And this is what I was kind of talking about here. I could, select a prop. These are clothes. I could select a prop and a patio chair and put it into the game. That's not hooked up right now, but Also, I'll have close. And this navigation is the old poser navigation. I have to work with you guys to determine what this navigation really should go look like. Like in poser, they put everything under props, whether it was person's clothes. They didn't. We'll have a specific category that's just clothes, for example, and then probably one that's your normal props. Probably we'll have a specific category for hair. All right, so I'll close that menu. I like him being angry. So you saw all those type of things you can do. I didn't show the switch cameras, but you can switch cameras and you can jump levels. And then you also can manage the inventory. So once you have an inventory there, you can move things up or down. You can delete them. I mean, in terms of where they fall in the menu. And it's multi-page. So it's you page through your stuff and find it. And I'll probably have to add a find to it if people get big inventories. Right now, there's not big inventories because not a lot of items are added. And we're going to look at something for persistence. We're going to be able to store this data somewhere. We're going to store the data in inventory and the data associated with what your character looks like in a database. There's maps and levels, and these will probably be mostly built by 3D modelers and level builders. And that's where, as I put it here, it's a place where your avatars cavort. Probably will be added as packages to the published game like Helios does, meaning if you make a level and you add it to the game, you won't be giving us all the assets associated with the game that we could take and put in other places. It will basically put it into a encrypted, basically like an executable binary, and added to the runtime version of our game. So people will not be able to take any of the assets that you built. You'll be able. This will contain. These will contain mostly these levels, dynamic and static props and meshes. It'll be linked to an atlas of some type of it down the road. Right now, that's available as a set of menu items. So we may just keep it there for that matter, if that works out for us, rather than a special screen for it. Dynamic props, that's what you put in to your levels, are usually static meshes with blueprints. They exist outside of a map or level and can be dropped into one of them. So these will also be things we can put out on the store and sell in Unreal. And they're usually tied to avatar interactivity. So you click on them to do something with them, or select something, or walk into a volume trigger, that type of thing. Or it also could be something in your scene talking to something else in your scene, which I call actor activity. They may be simple or complex, and there are things like automated doors, controllable lights, a media screen. I've got wind blowing landscape items, so we can make it rain. I've got a bunch of things associated with that in some of the levels I've got. And of course all the SFX, the special effects, like lasers, dance floors, spinning lights, and on. We're going to have voice. We'll probably use an out-of-the-box solution for that. We'll take what is given to us, and if we need something else to add to that, we will. But there's some pretty robust voice systems we can sit on top of already. We'll have a chat system, much like the voice system, with something we'll probably get and just use its functionality without having to change it much. Then our community level, which is we'll probably have some kind of persistent chat system that we might link into the game chat system. The ability to share screenshots and videos in the game. We'd have to have a news area. The typical things that you have, and we'll probably use the Steam community site for that because they have a whole bunch of stuff already for games that allow you to go do this, part of their advanced session plugin. So the audio and video thing I was talking about is, right now I have a media player I've written that plays YouTube videos, but it doesn't handle streaming, and that's because it's like Second Life and like a number of other ones. It won't handle Twitch, it won't handle YouTube because the underlying CEF browser, Chromium embedded framework, doesn't work with those. So the Sansar people went in and added that to their plugin. But the web browser inside of plugin inside of Unreal Engine doesn't handle it as either any of these things either because it's again a CEF based browser. So I'm going to also have it so it streams in Shoutcast iCast, and I'm going to do that by building a custom VLC plugin. I'm also going to integrate Open Broadcaster Studio plugin. So with a click of a button, you can automatically stream out YouTube and Twitch out rather than setting up OBS on your desktop and doing all that kind of stuff. If you're in the game doing stuff, you just click it and it goes. Music applications, this is why I'm building it. but it's for DJing, you'll be able to switch, the source of the DJ stream. So whether that's, if it's a YouTube video or if it's the streams I just talked about earlier coming in. It's going to have a looper I'm going to build, which will be based on the looper I built for Sansar, except instead of using native samples that I have to put into the game, I'm going to connect to something called Sonic Pi Super Collider, which I worked on in the core team way back when. And this will allow me to, again, sit on top of basically a looping software and just control it from inside of the Unreal game. The jammer, which I had before, and tried again to do in Sansar, but was only moderately successful. We'll do the same thing. We'll work the same way. You'll interact with something inside of the game, and it will connect to another piece of software that will actually generate the music and then bring it back into the game. I'm going to build my traditional instruments like I tried to do in Sansar with MIDI in and MIDI out, playable from a PC keyboard or MIDI keyboard. Integrate key mix functionality for DJing. So basically Mix is a DJ package that's open source, and I'm going to take the key elements of that and put it in there and have a DJ panel inside of Unreal Engine where you can actually do DJing from. It won't be as heavy duty as something like VDJ, but it'll have a lot of functionality. And the reason I'm trying to do that for is not for a professional DJ. It's for people that want to just play with DJing. They don't want to go learn how to go do those things. They just want to get into it. And also there'll be ability for, if you get two DJs in this software, those two DJs in this software, these two DJs can work together on a mix because they can have those panels and Unreal Engine that are sending information back to the underlying mix functionality. There'll be special effects for the dance studio, so much like the control panel I have in Rave Cave and other places, it will allow you to control the effects as a DJ and have pre-programmed shows and the whole bit. And I'm excited about that because we're going to be able to do a lot better effects. I'm also going to probably tie in DFX or DMX to control those special effects as well. So if you have a hardware piece of DJ equipment, you can go ahead and use it to control the effects inside of the game. I'm going to integrate a DAW for collaboration. That's, again, another long-term project of mine. So it'll allow you to actually not build up a mix, but actually work together collaboratively on a piece of music that you're producing. And I'll have things like jukeboxes and stuff as well to make it easy to go do. So that's my long-winded. These are always long-winded, these first ones. They'll be shorter as time goes on, but give you some function or some feeling for what the current architecture and planned architecture is for this game.